Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. Jam and Jerry here, and this is the third time I've attempted this recording. The Hook Audio app is messing up on me apparently, so we're just going to do it this way. I apologize if I'm rather quiet. It's because of how my phone is sitting so that you can see me. I did find out that you are able to see me when I do it this way. So much frustration. Let's take a quick vape here. All right. What I'm hoping to do is a couple different videos that are from a blind person's point of view with vaping and showing some of the things that, work for us and don't work for us and where it could be improved. The first video I'd like to do is a very important one about the mod. I think this is the biggest thing for me. This is going to be my first video. First of all, when you buy a mod, you don't know if the mod is on or not, because some mods, like the Captain X3, the Captain, what's it called, the P270, and this one here, the switcher mod, all of them do the same thing. When you put the batteries in, like so, hey, you're not allowed to slide off. When you put the batteries in, the second you close the door, voila, it's on. However, some mods, like the Alien, you have to turn them on when you put the batteries in. So let's make that universal, folks. And I'm hoping that somebody from different manufacturers would see these videos and take some of this to heart. Now, let's tell it, is this a new coil? Yeah. I always push the minus button. I can't remember if minus is yes or no, but that's what I always push. And then I always do a vape. Why? Because sometimes I've had this happen where the mod, when I push that button, will change the wattage setting on me for some reason. I don't know what the wattage is. I've had it kick it all the way up to 220 on me. Not a very pretty thing when you've only got, the Valerian tank with the coils that it has that aren't supposed to go above, what, 100, 110? Yeah, not pretty. Another thing I'd like to see is manufacturers make the mods accessible to someone who has no sight. Think about this the next time you're using your mod, ladies and gentlemen. You can go into the menu and you can adjust different settings and change things around. The easiest thing even, changing your wattage. You can look at your screen, oh, I'm at 105 watts. You can adjust it, no problem. Someone like us can't. I propose one of two things. The easiest, at least that I would think, would be this beauty right here, the USB port. It's already here. It is for charging purposes, although a lot of people don't recommend doing it because it doesn't charge the batteries evenly. It does not do balanced charging, at least in some mods. What it's there for is firmware updates. Well, if it's there for firmware updates, that means the capability is there to send to the mod. What I would propose is an app that is accessible, and when I say accessible, I mean it needs to work with a screen reader. For example, if I go to my desktop, as you hear, as I move around the screen, it's reading me what I'm highlighting. A lot of amateur radios, sadly, they do have a programming cable. They do have a way to hook it to the computer and get the info into the computer. What your settings are, what your memories are. But sadly, in a lot of cases, they're not accessible. Screen readers, you cannot just tab around to the different fields. And if you can, in some cases, all it reads you is edit, and it reads you whatever is in the edit field. So, for example, let's use a mod, for example. If I were to have an app that, if this were to work, in a lot of cases you would tab and it might say combo box 200. Well, unless I know the software really well, I may not know that that's for wattage. So when you tab to it, well, first of all, put the ability in to be able to tab to things. Second of all, have it say, wattage, combo box, 200. So that we know not only it's 200 or whatever it's set at, combo box 80, or, wattage, combo box 80. At least we know where it's at, and then we can adjust it as we use the arrow keys. It would read the new values. Once we set all of our settings where we want them, have a save button or a send button or a program button or whatever, and it sends it to the mod so that when we disconnect the mod, we would then know that the settings are there, hopefully. And I would also suggest that you make it universal, that if we unplug the USB port, either the mod is off or the mod is on. Let's not have several mods where, maybe it's on, maybe it's not. Unless you're going to put a speaker in it, a little tiny speaker that when you turn the mod on, it beeps at you. So that if I unplug the mod and it's turning the mod on, it beeps at me. When I close the battery door, it beeps at me, letting me know it's turning itself on. It would be nice. And a speaker can't be that hard to figure out how to put something like that in. I mean, a lot of electronics have something that simple in them, and it wouldn't raise the price by that much. A speaker that just beeps just a little bit. Doesn't have to be loud, doesn't have to be, doesn't have to sing a little tune, just a little beep. I understand that another way to do it would be the newer technology of Bluetooth, and that's great, but think of it from our point of view. Would I want to spend $70, $80, $90, $219 on a mod that I don't even know if the app is going to be accessible with VoiceOver? I have actually talked to a couple visually impaired people who've tried some of the Bluetooth mods out there. Sadly, the apps are not accessible with VoiceOver on the iPhone or even Android. I use both. And if you're going to make an app, you need to make it work for both, because there are blind people who use Android. There are blind people who use the iPhone. I don't want to just be able to sit here and... Because, even the simplest thing. I want to change my wattage. Where am I at? What I have to do to even find out where I'm at wattage-wise before I even go adjusting it is I have to take some pictures of it with a program called Bespecular, and then ask a question. There's a way you can do an audio question. You could type the question as well, and then volunteers, hey, one of you might be the volunteers that have helped me in the past, will tell me where my wattage is. Then I can adjust. Another thing I would like to suggest for manufacturers is the way that I have seen this, and I've seen this in 4 different mods now, the Alien, the Captain X3, the Captain, what did I have? The P270, I think it was. And this one here is just as guilty, the Switcher mod. Anything below 100 is 0.1 watts. But 100 and above, 1 watt. Let's make this universal at 1 watt, please. At least by default. If you really want it set strangely, have that as an option in the settings. How much do you want this to move when you use the up and down arrow keys? Because think of it this way: if I know I'm at 110 watts, let's say I want to drop down to 80 watts. Well, okay, first of all, if I'm at 110, I know I need to push it. I think it's 11 times to get it down to 99 watts. But then I have to start going 99 or 98.9, 98.8, 98.7, 98.6, 98.5. I feel like I'm playing a video game on my mod just to try to get the wattage adjusted. And whoops, if I mess up on my counting, if the phone rings or someone talks to me or something and I lose track of where I was in my counting, I won't say start all over, but I'd have to take more pictures just to figure out where I'm at again. This is why I say an app would be the easiest way to simplify something like that. let's talk tanks for a moment. There are a couple manufacturers that have got it awesome. I have 2 tanks made by the same company. However, I'm sure there are other tanks that are doing this now that are one of 2 things. Either the entire top comes off, such as on the Crown 3 that I have here. The top comes off, or in the case of the, oops, gotta thread it right, there we go. Or in the case of the Valerian, this one here, the one I've been using a lot lately, which I'm sorry, I think is better than the Crown 3, for flavor, cloud, airflow, all of that. Push a button and the top just flips open. But they have the same thing in common. If you look in here, and I hope you can see this, where my fingers are not 1 fill hole, but 2 fill holes. Perfect for someone like me. Let me show you what I mean by this. This tank is relatively full. What I can do is cover this hole on this side and then blow across the hole on this side. Hear how it's a higher pitch? You can tell that that tank is relatively full. It's almost all the way full. Let's try my Crown 3 here. Come here, Crown 3. Now, sadly, this doesn't work as well. I do know a couple blind people who can get it to work with the tanks that only have 1 hole. I personally haven't really gotten it to work very well. Let's try my Crown 3. Again, if you look, same thing. It's got 2 holes on the top, 1 on each side. The big hole in the middle, ignore that because that's not what we're discussing. We're discussing these 2 little holes, 1 on each side here. So I'm going to cover 1. Well, this doesn't. This one isn't working so well. I already filled this one. It's not working quite as well. Works a little better if you use a bottle while you're filling it. And if one of these was empty, I would show you. And in fact, I will in a video. I'll do just a really quick video so you guys can hear that as you're filling the tank. When you do that, it goes higher in pitch. So the higher the pitch, the fuller the tank. Is this a new coil? Yes or no? All right, so those are just a few things I wanted to bring to some manufacturers' attention. Like I said, I am going to do some other videos about different things I like in vaping, different coils, and I'm going to do it, like I said, from a blind person's point of view. Why? Because, well, that's me. I'm blind and can't see a thing. I don't even have light perception. But maybe it'll give some people an insight into what we go through from time to time and what can people do to make things a bit easier, make different mods that might be easier for us to use. And I'm sure that the sighted community would enjoy some of those things as well. If you like this video, give it 2 thumbs up, or just a thumbs up, I guess is what they call it now. Let me know what you think comment-wise. If you have some legitimate questions, feel free to ask them. I'll answer them if I can. Like I said, though, please make sure they're, serious questions. They're not something stupid. But I want to give to the vaping community. So many of you, Suck My Mod, being one, Vape Wild, they do videos now, although theirs could be a little bit more descriptive, but they are a company who really does help out, especially when you have questions. They really do help out, the community and the blind community too. They did stickers for me one time when I wasn't sure. I had ordered some juice that was zero nic and some that had like 1.5 or 3. They would put stickers on the ones that had the nicotine and no sticker on the ones that had 0 nicotine, so I knew which was which. But I'd love to give back to the community in the sense of, trying to help out. And this is the way I can think of to do that. So With that said, I hope everyone has enjoyed this video. Well, let's open the airflow and try that again. That was embarrassing. Take care, everyone.